Another thing I was fussy about, something that you'd find out about Lusifer White Star Lines. I was very fussy back in the old days, like 1700 and 1600. They used to sell umbilical cords. Got your umbilical cords right here. They'd sell animal umbilical cords, horse umbilical cords, cow umbilical cords, and they also sold human umbilical cords. And what they would do is they would take out the little baby, and they would take a knife and chop its stomach off and leave a little bit of the skin right there, because people like the skin, because you can kind of, I think they use it for funnels and stuff. You can kind of stretch it out and use it for funnels. You kind of put something down in there, and they would sometimes put it up to a machine, and they would have a stretcher, and it would stretch it out, and then you have a funnel. Use it in a lot of different things, basically. But they'd take little babies, little boys and girls. They'd chop off their stomachs. Then they would just toss the meat, toss the child to the dogs, and call it a day. It's happened a lot in the Aborigine tribal areas. So I found out about this, and I said I will buy those umbilical cords, but only if you leave the child and just snip off the umbilical cord. Otherwise, no deal. And Lusifer White Star Lines was a very big employer. And I could pay top dollar for those umbilical cords. And I would use them for belts and stuff like that, for my different machines and for sewing machines and stuff like that. We found a way to treat them, and they're kind of stretchy, and we could use them for like use them in the sewing machines and different things like that. Also for certain musical instruments. We found a use for some of them. Anyway, though, but I would only buy them if the child was left alive, and that I received the child with the umbilical cord attached or snipped off. Didn't really matter, as long as they left the child alive. I would buy them. So I bought about 1,500 first time, and then I bought, well, there's small shipments of like 30, and then 30, 17, and then 18, 65, and basically summing the total of about 1,300 children, or about 5,000 or 3,500 little black children that had that were left alive because I requested the umbilical cord with the child still attached, or I mean with the the child with the umbilical cord, because I knew what they would do. They would chop off the belly and just leave it. You get the skin and some other little bits with the thing, and then they would just ship that in the ships. And I didn't like it. It didn't seem right to me. So I'd only buy the umbilical cords if the child was okay, and to go ahead and cut the umbilical cord a little shorter, because some people liked the full length of the umbilical cord, so they left a little bit of the skin about 3 or 4 inches. And some people would stretch it out and use it for a funnel, or use it for the equipment, drain stuff through it. They would stretch it out, use some steam and stuff. Anyway, I used it for my sewing machines. The little thing that would go around the sewing machine and then down to the foot pedal and then back up. You needed a good belt for that. And we'd kind of sew them together and stuff like that. And we'd keep the children. So I got my shipment of 1,500 children. And then after that I got another 300 or something like that. And then I got some more. And I got some more. And I was paying good money for these things. Like 7 bits or something like that, or a little bit of metal, basically. Not very much, but you know, over the years it kind of added up. But children's umbilical cords, Lusifer White Star Lines, yes, I did buy them. And I did use the umbilical cords for my sewing machines and other things. I also found a way to kind of staple them on. There's this way you could take the umbilical cord, we'd stretch out the umbilical cord, and then we'd make like a little metal shield. So instead of using the skin, it had a little piece of metal around it, and then there was this little ring that you'd slide up, and it would pinch the umbilical cord to the metal thing. And that was to keep it so we didn't need the skin, and we could still use it for the same purpose that the other ones were being used for, which still had the baby child's little skin still attached. Like I say, didn't sit too well with me. what they were doing. So from some of the black Aborigine tribes, I got 3,000 to 7,000 children. Maybe 12,000, I'm not exactly sure. I lost count after a while. I was paying 7 bits of metal per child, basically. Good money, more than most people could pay. But, you know, I figured over the lifetime of the child, I'll get that 7 bits back and then some. So, rather than killing them, you know, it's better to keep them, and we'll make the room for them somewhere. Anyway, so White Star Lines, and then my ships, they would get on one of my ships and they'd be transported to one of my mines. And then they would work there and live there, basically. So I also bought the cow ones and some other ones. I really wasn't into the gut market, but I mean, I'd rather use leather. But I mean, I found out what some other people were doing, and I didn't really like it, so I became the world's largest buyer of human gut, of human umbilical cord stuff. They also would sell human guts as well and some other stuff, and I didn't buy those, and actually boycotted them. Actually, at some point in time, I actually said I will not buy from people who use human gut for their equipment or anything else like that. I will not be a part of that unless they died of natural causes and they could prove it because of what they were doing. Because they would take a person's belly and they would slice it right open right in front of them, and they'd still be alive. The guts would fall out, and then they would start harvesting the person right there, with them still looking down at their own guts. Some of the things they used to do. Like I said, I am a different kind of lord and creator and company owner. A lot of things did not sit too well with me. Nor did I choose to practice it. And I owned one of the largest mines and the largest shipping companies ever. So, and I did throw my weight around quite a bit, as they say. Anyway, I could bankrupt or destroy or even take over a country if I felt like it at certain times. But I didn't. Well, a couple of them maybe. Most people found that being under my command and my leadership was actually a good thing. So, because things were better. Anyway, so yeah, I did buy quite a few of those. And that was probably somewhere around 1,200 to 1,500, somewhere around there. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah. Anyway, so that's what happened in that Lusifer White Star Lines, and that's what I was doing back then. There's lots of stories and things and some very false truths. But yeah, there's some truth to some of it. Yes, I did. And you can actually even find the tribes that I was buying them from, because I would say the child has to be alive. So my people would pick up the umbilical cords, and it's like, okay, where are the children? Because they're coming with us too. And they would pick up the children, and they would go with us. Go with them, my people. And we'd take them to a place where they would be clothed and housed and everything else. And I was just buying the umbilical cords just because, I'd rather buy them with the child and I could pay 3 or 4 bits or cents more than other people. So I took a loss. I only sold the umbilical cords for the same price as everyone else was buying them for, so 30 cents. But I figured better me buy them than somebody else. At least I get the child. So the children would go to one of my farms or one of my places, and they would work. And they would run the equipment, saw the mills, chop the wood, and do everything else that normal people do. And they would make the food. That's why I was very much recession-proof, because I had a loyal crew that stayed with me, because I had saved their life literally and figuratively from a child age on. So that's umbilical cords for you.